Starting with the fourth part of the course, we're going to be looking at inferential statistics, meaning if we collect a sample and get the numbers from the sample, what does that tell us about the population? Before we really get into how we're going to do that, we need to find three really important numbers. You don't need to write anything down for this. You just need to know these three numbers. So I guess you need to write down the three numbers, but nothing else. If you need to refer back to it, you've got the video to look at. Remember our normal distribution. Of course you do. You've seen it a million times. And the empirical rule we talked about quite a while back. If you go out one standard deviation from the mean, you get 68% of the population. 2 standard deviations get you 95%. 3 standard deviations get you virtually all. Well, I want to turn that around a little bit and ask, how far do I have to go out from the mean in order to capture 90% of the population? Well, if we do that, then we're leaving 5% down here and 5% up there, right? 90 plus 5 gives us 100%. So what we really want to know is, what is that z-score? How many standard deviations above the mean is that number right there? Well, think about the percentile. If we got 5% above and 95% below, that's the 95th percentile. And you remember from previously, I hope, that if you go to distributions down to inverse norm and you give it the percentile, 0.95, it will give you the z-score that corresponds to that percentile, or how many standard deviations above the mean that point is. So for our 90%, we want to catch the middle 90%. Then we want to go up or down 1.64 standard deviations. So we go 1.64 standard deviations in both directions. We will capture the middle 90% of that distribution. I said this was 3 important numbers. The other 2 are the ones that correspond to 95% and 99%. So let's take a look at that. If we need to capture the middle 95%, that means we're leaving 5% outside, so 2.5 at the bottom and 2.5 at the top, which makes this the bottom 97.5%, or the percentile, 97.5 percentile. So we go back to our distribution, inverse norm, 0.975, and it gives us 1.96. Now remember back to that empirical rule. It said if we went out 2 standard deviations from the mean, we would capture about 95% of the population. Well, this confirms that. 1.96 is very close to 2. The empirical rule is just, rough estimate. This is a little more precise. So we can update that a little bit. If we go out 1.96 standard deviations from the mean, we will catch 95% of the population. One more to go. If we want to catch the middle 99%, well, that leaves 1% outside, which means 0.5% at the bottom and 0.5% at the top, which makes this the 99.5 percentile. So inverse norm, 0.995. And that tells us that if we go out 2.575, so we'll round that up to 2.58. If we go at 2.58 standard deviations in each direction from the mean, we will capture 99% of the population. So these are the numbers you need. For 90%, you need to remember 1.64, 95% is 1.96, and 99% is 2.58. And that means how many standard deviations do you need to go out from the mean in order to catch that percent of the population? See you next time.